Back with Bobby and JJ Radio. We have the Ohlrich law firm, Miss Ann Ohlrich and Julia Maldonado Santander. And now we're going to switch gears. If you missed any of the show earlier, you don't have to cry. You go to bobbyandjjradio.com. Be a fan of the show. These girls are going to be on SoundCloud. You can download or stream that in a couple days. Or wait to see their pretty faces on YouTube, which will be in about a week. But let's talk about, we're talking about immigration law. And we're going to switch gears a little bit. Why is it so important on the criminal side if you're from another country? Let's talk about plea bargaining or plea deals and how that hurts people, let's say someone from Mexico. Why is it different than a citizen like me and not Bobby?
It's different because for a United States citizen, if you're charged with a misdemeanor,
sure,
you are looking for something that's not going to send you to jail,
right,
something that's exposing you to the least amount of punishment possible.
Right.
And sometimes that is pleading to what they charged you to.
Right. Like, sorry, I sped.
I assaulted somebody in a bar. I got in a fight. And
right. I was talking when I should have been listening.
Something like that.
Got it.
And so for a United States citizen, if a plea offer comes your way that's like, okay, if you plead to that, we're going to just, you spent the night in jail to dry out. We're giving you time served. You have to pay a fine and go to anger management classes. That's a great deal. I don't have to go back to jail. We're
right.
done. A misdemeanor may or may not affect you depending upon your job.
For sure.
Now, if you're a Mexican citizen who does not have permission to be here, or somebody who has some sort of provisional permission to be here, that's going to affect you. Because then are we talking, did you stay in jail longer than 30 days? Is it a crime involving moral turpitude? There are a lot of factors that are going to affect it. And so what I have seen in my experience is I've come across people who say, well, I really didn't, it wasn't as bad as it looks on paper.
Sure.
And I say, well, why did you plead guilty to that? And they'll say, well, because my attorney said it was a good deal because they weren't going to send me to jail. And I'm like, oh, no. But it says, you did some horrible, violent thing. But
now we can't keep you here.
Now it's affecting your immigration status. And a lot of people don't understand how it prejudices you. And so
right.
It's so important for criminal attorneys to know or to research what the immigration consequences can be. Sure. And a lot of criminal attorneys don't ask, what is your citizenship? We have
really?
Yeah, we have. If you have a person, for example, if you are my client,
sure,
you speak great English.
Thank you.
I may or may not say, I wonder if this guy is, because you could have been brought here when you were a baby,
right?
And you're still here illegally.
Snuck over, you mean?
However he came over.
It was a car seat.
But so if I don't ask that question, I might think, or you're like, hey, I just came from work, or I'm in college, and whatever your story is,
right.
It might not make the bell go off in somebody's head to ask the question, and
sure.
so I
so
think
it might
it's
have
very
been
important.
good advice if it was an American citizen. In this situation, if it's somebody from Mexico, that advice that he took could have put him in jeopardy of being sent back.
Absolutely.
And how does the government know how these people entered into the United States? Or
if they come in illegally?
Yeah.
Only if they ask.
Only if they ask. So it's
so just don't admit it, man.
Or if they're caught while they're doing it.
Right. That's the only way.
Right.
Gotcha. So let's talk about criminal issues since we're already on there. DACA. How does this all play in with that?
Well, with the DACA right now, and you're hearing it a lot on the news with the kids who are being threatened with deportation or have been deported. The DACA is a privilege. It is not a right. It is not law that was enacted. It was an executive order. And the result is that as we're doing new applications and or renewals, if a misdemeanor pops up, it is likely to be denied. And not only that, they will refer them to deportation because, again, they have no legal status. Their legal status is a work authorization only. And so what we have is for some of our DACAs who are coming up for renewal, we have to ask, it's more important than ever now that we confirm, have you had a DUI? Have you been charged or have you pled that DUI down to road obstruction? Well, they can go into the record and look beyond that. And it's essential elements of the crime. So even if you haven't been convicted of it, if you're a DACA student, you're going to lose that DACA, and you will get a nice little notice to appear, and or they'll just show up to take you back to Mexico.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I've been hearing a lot on the news where people, I think last month or the month before, like a ton of people didn't get their lawns done, or people didn't get their houses cleaned because people were afraid to go to work and get picked up.
For sure.
Does this have something to do with it too?
This is a lot of it. What we're seeing now, and as you're seeing the administration talk about withholding federal funding for sanctuary cities and things like that, they are planning certain activities to find folks who have misdemeanors and or felony convictions or who have even been arrested. We had an incident here in Bexar County where someone went to go pay a parking ticket, and they were waiting for him in the courtroom. So
It's a sting operation.
It's a new world. It's a new world, or rather, it's an enforcement prevalent world than what we'd been living in previously.
Quick takeaway before we have to say goodbye to you girls. EB-5.
Yes.
You all do them.
Yes, we do.
What is EB-5?
The EB-5 is an employment-based fifth preference category immigrant visa for investors. The previous standards were $500,000 in a regional center or $1 million investment, creation of 10 jobs for residents and citizens here in the United States, and it would grant you conditional residence for 2 years. At the end of the 2-year period, you showed that you fully vested all your funds, you created the jobs, and you could remove those conditions and be a permanent resident in the United States. That still exists today. There are easier ways to go about it. There are a number of regional centers in the U.S. that are approved. We do have one here in San Antonio, the Brook City base. That is not a $500,000 level of investment, and actually the level of investments have now risen.
How high now?
860.
They start at the minimum at $860, and then it goes above $1 million if you're a private investor.
But if they're thinking about doing that, it might just be good to talk to you because there's some other ways
It's really best to give us a call, absolutely, because we can find probably a faster, cheaper, easier way for you to do it.
And what's the best way to find you girls?
Either on the web at www.texohlrich.com or 210-265-1062.
Take a quick break. Be right back.